Hi there, I'm Brooks Naylor. I'm a developer advocate here at PropelAuth, and welcome to the What Does Blank Actually Mean series, a series where we're diving into the various jargon, acronyms, abbreviations in the world of authentication to explain to you, for those who are curious, what any of this actually means. Today, we're going to be covering SAML, what SAML actually means. Amongst the various acronyms and abbreviations in the world of authentication, SAML, which stands for Security Assertion Markup Language, is one of the most confusing, to say the least. So here, we're going to walk through what's involved in SAML SSO, or single sign-on, to try and paint a clearer picture of what any of this actually means. First, a brief summary of what we've covered in the previous video, what SSO actually means. SSO, or single sign-on, is when you log into one account and it gives you access to multiple products or sites. Probably the most common example of this is with a login with Google button, and the idea is really simple. You can have an account with Google, that you've signed into your account with Google, and then you get access to any site that has implemented this kind of login flow. With an enterprise SSO setting, instead of having a personal account with Google or Twitter or anything like that, you leverage your work account and gain access to all of the products that your company uses. These work accounts are managed by a tool called an identity provider, or an IDP. Common IDPs are things like Okta, Azure, or Rippling. Now, SAML is a method to achieve this kind of single sign-on, where a user gains access to the various products they need to use for their job via a single account with their identity provider. SAML is actually the underlying protocol that manages that enterprise SSO connection. Now, let's walk through a scenario to demonstrate what this really looks like. Say an employee has just joined a new large company as a sales representative. The company knows that this employee is going to need access to a CRM, let's say Salesforce. As a part of their normal employee onboarding, they are added to the company's identity provider. In this case, let's say they have an account with Okta. The employee is then added to a group on Okta associated with the sales department. The company marks that any employee in this organization should be allowed to access Salesforce. The company has configured Okta such that any employee in this group will be allowed access to Salesforce. From here, there are two possible paths. In the first, the employee goes to their Okta dashboard, where there is a button there for Salesforce. When they click it, they are immediately logged in and brought to Salesforce since they are already logged in through Okta. One nice feature that some IDPs have is that they can also give the company's employees a dashboard of all of the products they have access to. Instead of going to a Salesforce website, they can just click the Salesforce button in Okta and automatically be logged in. Companies prefer this kind of setup since the lift on their part is minimal. All they had to do is add their employee to the sales organization on Okta, and that's it. Then the employee has access to Salesforce and any other tool they need to do their job. In the other path, the employee goes directly to Salesforce via their browser, for instance, and they select to log in with their employee account through Okta. In this path, it works almost identically to the example we walked through in our previous video around SSO. But in this instance, instead of working with Google, they are working with the company's choice of IDP, in this case, Okta. It verifies whether the employee is authenticated and logged in, and then sends a SAML response back to Salesforce indicating that, yes, this employee is authenticated and is allowed access to Salesforce based on the information that they already have for this employee. Not only that, but a huge benefit to companies using this kind of SAML SSO setup is that once an employee is logged in, they aren't just getting access to their personal account, but to the company account as well. Now, you've seen why a large company likes it when the products they use support SAML or enterprise SSO. But how do you as a developer add it to your product? Well, it's actually pretty complicated because each IDP is different and handles this handshake between various platforms in different ways. A really nice aspect about our product, PropelAuth, is that we provide step-by-step integration instructions so that you can implement SAML SSO regardless of your customer's IDP of choice. Like I've mentioned before, the goal at PropelAuth is to make sure that you don't have to think about things like SAML and other authentication topics so that you can work on the things that matter to you and your product. But if you are curious to learn more, we're happy to provide a look into how it all ticks and how it all fits together. If you have any other questions about authentication, be sure to check out more videos in this series or shoot us an email at support@propelauth.com.